Okay guys, so just to preface this video for you, I filmed this at like, I don't know what time is it? It's quarter to midnight. It's 11:45. I filmed this, I had been going all day, I'm so tired. I called it a 172 Skylane, my apologies. 182 Skylane. There's also a couple other things that I screwed up in this thing. I mean, you'll see it. Just ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to Throttle Up Aviation, another video for you guys today. Today we're back into the Carenado Cessna 172 Skylane turbocharged, and today we're going to be doing a tutorial on it, how to start, take off, climb, all the information you need to know if you want to go fly this aircraft in the simulator. Last week you saw we did the review on it, and this week we are here doing the tutorial on it. Next week expect, I don't know if I should tell you what to expect. Expect the Turbo Aero video to be coming out that I said that Cooper was working on. He was working on the Turbo Aero tutorial. I still have to do the review on it, and then we will upload those in the same sequence. Probably what we're going to look at doing is review, then the tutorial. And yeah, so let's get right into it. So first things first, we're going to already assume that a pre-flight has been completed and that you have ensured that all systems are working properly. So first things first, before starting engine checklist, you need to make sure your brakes are confirmed testing. You need to test them, so all you have to do is just kind of push them down, make sure they are free range of motion and they don't catch on anything. Don't mind that, I've got a problem with my right rudder. Circuit breakers, you want to make sure that they are all in, which ours are all in, it looks. In. Electro equipment off, so make sure everything is off. You know, alternator, bus, avionics buses, all your lights are off. Pitot heat, prop heat is off. Make sure your autopilot doesn't have any blinky lights. Make sure everything is off and ready for everything to be turned on. And double check that your avionics buses are off, because they can cause, when you fire up your engine and it switches from battery over to alternator power, it can cause damage to the avionics. So we want to make sure that our cowl flaps are open. So I'm going to see if my switch does that, and it does. Not really. Cowl flaps open, make sure fuel selector is on both. Alright, there we go. So that is the before starting checklist. Make sure everything's make sure everything's off. Cowl flaps open, fuel selector on both, and you're basically ready to start engine. So, throttle control, you want to open it up a 1/4 inch. So there's about a 1/4 inch. Propeller control, high RPM, make sure that's pushed full in. Make sure control idle cut off, make sure that's all the way out. Standby battery switch, we need to test it. Make sure the light comes on, and it does. And then arm, verify that the PFD does come on. And your standby battery annunciator, make sure that it is shown right there, standby bat. Propeller area clear, make sure everybody's gone. Master switch, turn those to the on position. It'll automatically turn your standby battery to arm once you turn your battery system on. Beacon light, you want to make sure that is on, which is that one there. And if the engine is warm, you do not need to select your fuel pump on, and you do not need to select your mixture full rich until stabilized fuel flow is indicated. So we're going to turn fuel pump on. We're going to listen. Yeah, it's good. Then we're back to idle cutoff. Fuel pump switch is off. Make new to switch start. Now we're going to wait for the engine to start, and then we're going to advance our mixture control forward. And there we go. Mixture is coming forward. We're going to make sure our brakes are set currently, so we don't start rolling forward. Oil pressure, we want to automatically check for that. Again, like I said, it would be here. So to check for that, we're going to turn our avionics bus on. And we have oil pressure. Oil temps coming up. We have vacuum pressure. Fuel flow is kind of there a little bit. We've got, everything looks good. Again, I wish I could tell my electrical bus, but I can't. And then nav light switch, turn that to the on position. Make sure the low volts annunciator is off. We will go quick view traffic. It's Cessna Skylane Foxtrot Echo Delta Sierra backtracking 06 for departure. Quick view. So short field takeoff procedure. We're going to be flaps 10 for departure. Since this is kind of short field, I mean, don't get me wrong, I can take this plane off anywhere. It's a Cessna, by the way. Okay, we're going to stop and turn around here prior to the road. And when you're turning around in this airplane, always make sure that you have your elevator back and lock a brake. And then you turn around much nicer. Anyways, we're going to stop on the runway. Not always a great thing. And then we're going to go back onto the internal view, and we're going to do our before takeoff checklist. Parking brake should be set. Make sure your seats are in the most upright position. Cabin doors, make sure they are closed and locked, which they are, along with the windows. Flight controls, free and correct. Can't really see in this aircraft, but as long as you have free range of motion, chances are you're going to be okay. Altimeter, make sure your barometric pressure is set properly, which mine is not, because we are 24 something here. Number 2460, we'll see, I could be wrong. Standby altimeter set, alt select set, so it wants you to be using the autopilot if you're looking through the Carenado normal procedures, but I don't. Standby flight instruments check, make sure they're all correct. Fuel quantity check, make sure that we've got enough fuel for the flight, which we do, and verify the aircraft. And make sure control rich, fuel selector valves on both. And then we're going to hit the autopilot switch and verify that we can overpower the autopilot, and we can. And again, it wants us to hit my autopilot disconnect button, make sure everything's good. Now we're going to go throttle control up to 1800 RPM. Remember, we have our parking brake off right now, or on, so we don't have to be holding the brakes. We're looking for 1800 RPM in the run-up. Next thing's next, we're going to check our magnetos. Left. And our drop should not exceed 175 RPM, or 58 RPM differential. Back to both, make sure it recovers. To the left. Back to both. Propeller control cycle. We want to do that 3 times. Get fresh hydraulic, or get fresh engine oil to the thing. Vacuum indicator, check that it is showing a reading, which it is. Our GPS is set, which we will set direct to, like, back to a task one. C X. Next, normal takeoff. We're looking for a short field, which wing flaps. We want 20 degrees of flap, so 2 notches. Throttle control. We're gonna release the parking brake now, and we're going to go into our higher view here. Quick view traffic, it's Foxtrot Echo Delta Sierra's on the roll runway 06, going to be right turnout, direct with task one. So what it's saying is we're going to push our throttle all the way up to 3200 or 32 inches of manifold pressure, 2400 RPM, release brakes. Whoa, what the hell happened there? Whoa. Don't mind me running off the runway, we don't talk about that. Why is it pulling so hard? Anyways, we rotate up at 55 knots, and we can hold 60 to go against that. We're going to climb at 60 knots till obstacles are clear. We're going to keep climbing at 60 knots because there's high tension power lines up here. We don't talk about that departure. Okay, now once the obstacles are clear, we will lower the nose a little bit, get up to 70 knots, and we will retract our first notch of flaps. I'll begin our right-hand turnout. Quick view traffic, Foxtrot Echo Delta Sierra's in the right-hand turnout, southbound with task one. And we'll flap 80 knots now, flaps coming up. And our climb now. We're looking for 90 to 100 knots in the climb. And we're going to bring throttle control back to 25 inches of manifold pressure. Wetaskiwin area traffic, it's Foxtrot Echo Delta Sierra. We're currently about 4.5 miles to the north of the field. We're inbound landing, planning across midfield, and we'll join right downwind. Correction, left downwind. Runway 30. We want to stay at 4,000 feet. Cruise. We want 15 to 25 inches of manifold pressure, so or to 28 inches of manifold pressure, we're turning at 24, and 2,000 to 2,400 RPM. Elevator and rudder control, trim controls we want to adjust, which we're trimmed out pretty awesomely right now. Mixture controls, lean for desired performance or economy. Cowl flaps can be closed at this time. Alright, so our before landing checklist will begin once we turn onto the downwind here. We're slowing down and making a really tight pattern for some god-awful reason. I've also descended a little bit, but I think my barometric pressure's off. Wetaskiwin traffic, I could all the zeros joining the left downwind runway 30, full stop, Wetaskiwin. We're going to pull our power back even more. Before landing checklist now, make sure seat belts and seats and doors are all locked. Fuel selector valve on both. Mixture control goes up to rich. Propeller control, high RPM, which we never touched due to the fact that we did not need to. Autopilot, make sure it is off, and I will hit my kill switch, and it is. Taxi landing lights are on, autopilot's off, cabin power 12-volt switch is off. And are looking at a normal landing here. We want airspeed 70 to 80 for flaps up, so we're going to slow down. Wetaskiwin traffic, Echo Delta Sierra, turning base. Wetaskiwin traffic, Echo Delta Sierra on a 45-degree left dogleg, runway 30, full stop, Wetaskiwin. Alright, we want 60 to 70 knots for flaps full, and our approach speed is about 65. So we want to nail 65. Again, we don't want to, I'm bad for this, I don't want to use power to gain speed. I want to descend. Power controls pitch, pitch controls speed. Unless I'm in level, then I need to give it a little bit more power because I'm still a little bit high. Alright, we got flaps full, mixture prompt pumps. We want fuel pump on. Or at least I always like to have the fuel pump on my landings. We're looking to touch down main wheels first, let that nose wheel come down. We're hoping to escape by alpha. A little bit blustery for some reason. That wasn't a bad landing. Okay, flaps up after you come here. Landing roll, lower nose wheel gently, and braking, we use the minimum required. I'll park right here for now. So, now our shutdown checklist, mixture is all rich. We're going to pull our power all the way to idle. We want to shut off all of our lights, including our navigation lights will need to become off. Avionics master will come off. Make sure everything's off. All your switches are off. Autopilot's off. Confirm that's off. This screen can say stay on. Avionics buses are off. And we can pull the mixture control full out. And we will continue our checklist now, now that they've done. Prop stops spinning. Magnetos, and once it stops, magnetos will come to off. Master switch will turn off. Along with the standby battery switch will automatically turn off. There we go. We're back now in Wetaskiwin where we started off the previous video. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel if you're new. And if you want to see more videos like this, let me know in the comments below. I appreciate you guys taking the time to check this out. And I will see you guys in a later video. Have a fantastic rest of your day and warm tailwinds.